Hi there, I'm Sibongiseni Nkabinde, and I'll be giving you an overview of my project. Intrinsic factors contribute to the variation in the AME value of corn for broiler chickens. These corn samples may look the same, but if you look deeper into their chemical and physical characteristics, you will see that they are different. The assumption that corn has a consistent nutritional value is changing as more studies are conducted and variability is shown between batches. The large variation in energy of corn has significant implications for the feed industry, since it implies a potentially large variation in energy available from corn included in feed formulation, and suggests that the use of generic metric values for corn are inaccurate. It has been shown that physical characteristics such as kernel hardness and richness may explain some of the variation in the observed energy of corn. However, current prediction equations used by the feed industry to calculate the energy of corn do not consider differences in kernel hardness and richness. Looking at the physiology of corn, the corn kernel is composed of three basic morphological parts: the pericarp, germ, and the endosperm. The endosperm represents 75 to 80% of the maize kernel, while the pericarp and germ account for 5 to 6 and 10 to 12% of the kernel weight, respectively. Starch, the primary carbohydrate in corn, comprises around 70% of the weight of the corn kernel on a dry matter basis. Corn starch contributes approximately 66% of the AME content in broiler diets. The endosperm contains most of the starch and protein in the kernel. Most of the crude fat is contained in the germ, together with a relatively high level of protein and minerals. The carbohydrate, fat, and protein components all contribute to the overall energy value of corn, and any variations in these nutritional components will alter the energy value in the same way. There are two types of endosperm. One is of a higher density, harder, and more translucent, called the vitreous or horny endosperm, located on the outside of the kernel. The other is of a lower density, softer, and mealy textured, called the floury or opaque endosperm, located in the center of the kernel. Maize can be categorized into 5 classes according to kernel hardness. These classes range by decreasing vitreousness: flint, popcorn, flour, dense, and sweet. It has been shown that increased vitreousness in maize caused a linear decrease in the availability of starch, and that the endosperm protein composition and distribution determine the vitreousness. Hard kernels have a higher percentage of glossy endosperm. Soft kernels have a higher percentage of floury endosperm, and intermediate kernels have an even distribution of glossy and floury endosperm. Due to large variations in corn grain quality, the use of a rapid automated system to determine grain nutrient content and quality is the most economical option to avoid inaccurate feed formulation. Near-infrared transmitted spectroscopy, NIT for short, is a non-destructive method used to determine energy and kernel hardness. This method requires no sample preparation, is quick and accurate, and can be used to analyze whole kernels, improving measurement repeatability and sample preservation. It is an ideal piece of equipment to have at the intake offices of silos for quality control purposes. For more information on my project, please have a look at my poster. Thank you.